It's totally human to want a little reassurance, a thumbs up, a pat on the back. It's how we connect. But what happens when that simple need for approval starts calling all the shots? Well, today we're going to dive into that and really unpack what it costs us when we get caught in that trap.
Just take a second and be honest with yourself. Have you ever swallowed an opinion or said yes to something when your gut was screaming no, all because you were afraid of how someone might react? Yeah, I think we've all been there. And that feeling is right at the heart of what we're talking about.
And look, there's a huge difference between wanting to feel connected and being trapped by a need for validation. It's one thing to seek feedback and feel good about it. That's healthy. But it's a whole other ballgame when your self-worth and your decisions are completely dictated by what other people think. That's when you've fallen into the approval trap.
So, how do you even know when you've crossed that line? It's tricky, right? Because this stuff can creep up on you and just become a habit. So let's get into it and look at some of the classic signs that a healthy desire might be turning into something that's really controlling you.
So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, basically, approval-seeking behavior is when you find yourself doing things mainly to get a gold star from somebody else. It's when your own sense of self gets completely tangled up in their opinions of you. Their validation starts to feel more real, more important than your own.
When you look at these signs, it's kind of funny because they can seem so normal, you know? I mean, who hasn't nodded along to avoid an argument? Or felt that little sting when a post gets no love? The real key here isn't about doing one of these things once. It's about recognizing when these little moments start to form a pattern that ends up deciding how you feel about yourself.
Let's make this super clear with an example. Let's call him Tom. Tom is that guy at work who just can't say no. He's always taking on draining tasks he doesn't want, just so everyone thinks he's dependable. He laughs at jokes he doesn't find funny, just to fit in. Sound familiar? Tom's life is starting to feel like one big performance, and trust me, that performance has a very high price.
And this isn't just about feeling a little insecure every now and then. This constant chase for validation has a real, tangible impact on our well-being. So let's really dig into the cost of this behavior, because honestly, it goes way deeper than you might think.
I mean, think about it. When you're constantly molding yourself to fit what you think other people want, you slowly start to lose touch with who you actually are. Your confidence gets chipped away, and you just feel drained. It's like you're playing a role in your own life, and you're not even sure where the character ends and the real you begins.
And this isn't just a feeling, there's actual science behind it. Research shows a direct link between a high need for approval and higher levels of anxiety. Every conversation, every interaction suddenly feels like a high-stakes test, one you're terrified of failing. You end up replaying everything in your head, second-guessing every single word. It's exhausting.
And the fallout doesn't stop at anxiety. When your self-worth is completely outsourced to other people, every little bit of disapproval can feel absolutely catastrophic. It's like a personal failure. And that constant roller coaster can pave the way for some really serious feelings of depression.
So just how strong is this link? Well, one study found that low self-esteem combined with this need for approval accounts for a third, 33%, of the variation in depressive symptoms for people with major depressive disorder. Let that sink in for a second. A full third. That's how incredibly powerful this stuff is.
Okay, so if the consequences are this serious, why on earth do we do it? Where does this intense need for everyone to like us even come from? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look back, because these patterns, they don't just pop up out of nowhere.
For a lot of us, the seeds for this stuff were planted way, way back. Our experiences as kids kind of create a blueprint for how we see ourselves and where we fit in the world.
Now, this is not about blaming anyone, but if you grew up feeling like you had to earn affection, that you were only good enough if you performed well or followed all the rules perfectly, you learn a powerful lesson. You learn that your value isn't inherent, it's conditional. And that's a heavy belief to carry into adulthood.
But hey, it's not all about our childhoods. The world we're living in right now can be a total pressure cooker for this kind of behavior. It can pour gasoline on those old habits or even spark brand new ones.
I mean, social media is the big one, right? That little dopamine rush you get from a like or a comment, it's designed to be addictive. It's basically a slot machine for your self-esteem. And at work, the pressure to always be on and prove your worth can easily turn dedication into a desperate scramble just to hear someone say, "Good job."
All right, so we've looked at the what, the why, and the how it hurts. And I know it can all feel a little heavy, but this is the most important part of our whole chat. You are not stuck here.
It is 100% possible to break free from this cycle and to start building a sense of self-worth that comes from the inside out. So where do you even start? Here's a simple 4-step path to get you going. It all starts with awareness, just noticing when that approval-seeking monster rears its head. From there, you can start building your own internal validation system. Learn how to ride the wave of anxiety when it comes. And maybe most importantly, remember that you don't have to do any of this alone.
And here is something you can literally start doing the second this is over. We're so used to looking outside for validation, but what if we could learn to give it to ourselves? Saying these affirmations might feel a little silly at first, but they are incredibly powerful. These aren't just empty words. This is you actively rewiring your brain to challenge all those old negative stories you've been telling yourself.
So let's end on this one question. Just imagine it. What would you do? What would you say? What would you create if you truly weren't afraid of what anyone else thought? Because letting go of that fear isn't about being reckless. It's about finally getting quiet enough to hear your own voice and choosing to live by that truth. You really do deserve that.